Guild Wars 2 belongs to a dying breed of MMORPGs where the first M actually means something. Over the years I have played most relevant titles in the genre. They all had good qualities about them, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that there is very little MMO in those RPGs. Most active titles in the genre feel like playing a single-player game or Dungeons Queue simulator. I don't know about you, but interactions with other players is what I crave in MMORPGs. Overcoming challenges together, the sense of camaraderie and helping each other. This feeling of being a part of an active world. And without these interactions, the appeal of an MMO just simply fades. Let's be honest, most MMORPGs are worse single-player games than, well, the actual single-player games are. I think most of you will agree with me that we play MMORPGs mainly for the MMO part and not the RPG, right? See, MMOs come with their own share of bullshits, annoyances and design choices that you endure for the rewards they have to offer. And the reality is that the only reward unique to MMOs is the massive interaction with other real players. It's after all in the name of the genre. Now sure, with time, MMORPGs got better at providing us with other rewards that keep us hooked. The shiny cosmetics items, the crave for higher item level gear, or any other carrot at the end of the stick that keeps us coming back day after day to our favorite title. But in this process of their evolution, I think MMOs have lost what many of us got to love the genre for. The building of a community, the interactions with other players, and a sense of wonder about the game's world. And here is where Guild Wars 2 comes in as a breath of fresh air, even though the game has been out for more than a decade. It takes a lot of design philosophies popular in the genre today and throws them out of the window. Playing Guild Wars 2 reminds me why I fell in love with MMORPGs years ago. And in this video, I will do my best to help you understand what makes Guild Wars 2 so special and why I think you should give it a fair shot. By my count, there are three primary aspects of Guild Wars 2 that make the game a special title among MMORPGs. On the surface level, all three of them may seem unrelated, but when you think about it deeper, you realize they combine into a cohesive philosophy of the game which promotes interactions between Guild Wars 2 players. The first aspect, making Guild Wars 2 unique, are spontaneous interactions with players. Guild Wars 2 is at its best when random things happen, which often take you on an adventure. You log in, have an idea of what you will try to unlock or progress. You roam the map that you need to collect some items from, but then you pass by a player with a commander marker, who has a group of people following him. You wonder, hey, what are they doing? And so you tag along to see what's happening. One event leads to another, and you end up with a huge world boss battle, or some other major open world event, culminating from a series of seemingly unrelated events. And so, just like that, you've participated in an adventure involving many players, without even intending to do so. I mean, by that time you might even forget why you came here in the first place. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. You feel like you've had fun, spent time in a good way, and want more of that juice. On another occasion, you interact with a random player who stopped for a moment to compliment color choices for your outfit. You start a little chit-chat, then they show you their characters. You chat about the classes in the game, and just like that, you had a pleasant interaction for half an hour. Did you get any tangible progress in the game during that time? No, but you will remember this conversation few months later, just like I have. Or say you try to unlock a new specialization for your alt characters. So often you will find hero points trains, which basically means that an experienced player takes their time to help a group of less experienced players to get their specializations unlocked. Does the veteran get something from it? No, not really. In fact, such hero train is much slower than a vet doing the points by themselves. And so, they primarily do it to just help others. See, these examples are when Guild Wars 2 is at its finest, and all these situations have a common denominator: interacting with other people. Sure, you could say, hey man, you can chat with people about fashion in all other MMORPGs, or tag along strangers to do stuff together. And you know what, you're partially right. You could do that. But the thing is, you generally don't do that. So why is that? See, these interactions are not accidental in Guild Wars 2. They are encouraged by the game's structure. It all starts with gameplay designs, like the fact that reviving other players grants experience points and contributes to certain achievements, or that participating in open-world events is more rewarding when done in a group, incentivizing collaboration. Plus, many open-world events require actually multiple players due to their difficulty and scaling, and so people play together much more than in other titles. Now, let's talk about the lack of vertical progression, which is the second reason why players interact and help each other more in Guild Wars 2 than I believe they do in other MMORPGs. Typically, in MMOs these days, you chase the latest, highest item level gear. You level up, get to the end game, and work your way up tier by tier until you reach your best in slot. Then a new expansion hits and your gear is deemed either useless or at least subpar. And so you repeat the grind to get the better gear. Rinse and repeat. This constant treadmill, often accompanied by time-gating mechanics, creates a sense of constant urgency and a fear of missing out. And then we have Guild Wars 2, where the best gear from 8 years ago remains relevant even today. In fact, basic endgame gear is easily obtainable for just a few gold pieces. Progression in Guild Wars 2 is less about gear raw power and more about enhancing your quality of life in the game. Such QoL aspects involve modifiable gear, access to mounts, new traversal options with them, and other features like AoE looting. And these quality of life aspects will be there always, even when the new expansion hits. While this system sounds really great on paper, it can be very overwhelming for newcomers. So many things to unlock, where to start. The game doesn't hold your hand, you have to make your own choices. This is where I believe most players coming from other MMORPGs get discouraged and intimidated. If you are one of them, check out my video guide on how to enjoy Guild Wars 2 experience, which should pop up now at the top of the screen. And for those of us who stay with the game, a rewarding experience awaits. We learn to enjoy more chilled and self-directed experience Guild Wars 2 has to offer. With enough time, we also unlearn the FOMO of other titles and become like that commander I mentioned before, helping others even when the act of helping gives us nothing tangible in return. We also learn to set our own goals and just play the game to enjoy the gameplay Guild Wars 2 offers. Speaking about goals, let's discuss the third aspect making Guild Wars 2 special. The longer you play the game, the longer your goals take to accomplish. At first, achievements like leveling up or advancing the story chapters are swift and easy. However, the game gradually introduces long-term objectives, which may take a really long time to finish. Completing masteries or unlocking mounts? Likely few months of work. Legendary gear? Oh boy, that might take years. And so players face choice. Embrace the journey and progress steadily? Or rush through the content seeking immediate rewards, treating Guild Wars 2 just like any other MMORPG with a vertical progression. Those who rush inevitably burn out. They become frustrated by attempting to turn long-term goals into quick wins. These are the players you see online complaining about Guild Wars 2 design and the grind. On the flip side, players who savor the journey tend to enjoy Guild Wars 2 much more. They pace themselves, stay flexible, find joy in helping others, and explore the vast world of Tyria. With time, they unlearn vertical gear treadmill and accept Guild Wars 2 for what it truly is. A game where the immediate reward comes from interactions and the gameplay itself, with the promise of a future additional benefits down the line. Alright, now that we got through all these three aspects of Guild Wars 2, namely gameplay design supporting spontaneous interactions, horizontal progression, and long-term goals, we can finally understand why in Guild Wars 2 players are more eager to jump into activities together, help each other, and ultimately keep the MMO spirit in the game. The design philosophy of the game supports interactions by incentivizing such mindset. You are basically rewarded for playing with other players. Your goal's completion is likely also so far ahead that you are not rushing towards them. And there is no pressure to get anything quickly, since your progress stays relevant for years. In other words, there is no FOMO in Guild Wars 2 unless self-induced. I think Guild Wars 2 is a perfect place for people who do not seek competitiveness in the MMORPG of their choice. And because of all of that, Guild Wars 2 attracts people who enjoy a different type of MMO experience and brings the best out of them in the process. Now, of course, Guild Wars 2 is not for everyone. Those of you who do not like the structure of the game will inevitably quickly lose interest in it. But going online and saying that the game is bland, uninspired and generic is, in my opinion, dishonest. Among many generic games, Guild Wars 2 is actually one of the few truly unique MMORPGs on the market, where most titles compete in outpacing each other in FOMO and vertical progression speed. Guild Wars 2 stands on the sidelines doing its own thing. If you enjoyed this video, a like and subscribe would be fantastic ways to show support to my channel. Thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one.